Hi, I just want to do a little video. I'm feeling quite positive at the minute. Um, the last couple of days, and I'm always going through great moments with this spiritual awakening journey that I've been on since the age of 24, and just seeing things so clearly. And I thought to myself, it's a perfect time to do a video. Because everything's just so clear to me. I realised that everything that I ever went through, all the problems that I had growing up, all the struggles that I had, was meant to be that way for the spiritual awakening journey. So I'm just having great clarity at the minute. And thinking that I've got to try and get this message out there about that there is no separation, because I still see people into this illusion of separation, and there's something out there when I really need to try and push this as much as I can. And how I push it is by speaking about my awakening, and as it's progressing, it's what's happening as it's progressing is I'm going deeper within myself. As we go deeper within ourselves, it's like a light, you see, and the light gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and people pick that up because we're all energy, you see. So it's all about just becoming the truth. That's what awakening means. It's you're becoming the truth. And when I had this awakening at the age of 24, I had it at the peak, worst depression ever. Had depression for 28 years, even a few years after the awakening, because it took years for the philosophies to really work. Because it's all about faith and trust, you see. But when I had it, it was a feeling of complete letting go. All of a sudden, everything changed, and I knew something had changed. And for a couple of days, I was very confused. And then after about a week, I realised what I had was pretty special. It was the most special thing you can have. A thing of a situation where that you've been put on this reality, this planet Gaia, as I've been calling it lately. You've been put on this reality to help with this awakening, this ascension process, and everything. The clarity, just goes up and up and up. It was a moment of clarity after that week, but the clarity and those kind of feelings have just went up and up. What happens to me all the time? This clarity feelings just excel, just excel all the time. I've got a destiny. I know exactly what it is, and I know whatever I'm experiencing on this reality is part of that destiny. And we all have a role to play in that destiny. See, 'cause it's all the same destiny. And what I'm experiencing is a personal version of the awakening, but this whole reality is going through an awakening. So it's not just one person going through it, but it's one infinite awakening. And it's going to excel us all into infinity. So people are living their lives because of what their heart space is telling them to do. Not just doing something out of fear, or I must do this. Because the truth of the matter is, how reality works is you don't have to do a thing. No system can exist without your participation. Without your agreement, nothing can stand up. But people have been in this illusion that someone can do something to them, when in actual fact, the them needs us. So that's what people need to get in their little sheep heads and start awakening. That no one can do a thing to you. Wake up. Wake up, and in my time, and that I've got here, which is a long time, I'm just going to do the best I can for this awakening. And I promised I've promised from day one, when I first realised I had this great experience, I promised from day one that I would, give my life to this. And this path again, this path is really, I talk about Gaia and that within everyone is a female god and a male god. And these are the powers of creation. But the way I'm acting is how any man will act if it's the real goddess that he's dealing with. I'm talking in terms of relationships now. I see a lot of people, a lot of men not being inspired. And the women are blaming them, you see. But if to any women out there, if you want to know how a man is supposed to be with you, take a look at the way I am with this awakening, the way I'm dedicated every second. That's because I'm inspired by an infinite female power. That female power, if you're a woman, this is the power that you're meant to be playing the role of and being. That's what you are. Right? So ask yourself, so you need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, well, if he's doing all that for this goddess, then that's basically the kind of woman I should be then. People just need to take a look at themselves in the mirror. Because at the end of the day, like I always say, we're all reflections of the same infinite consciousness. We're all one. Everything is one infinity. There is no separation. There's no separate beings. There's no separate aliens. Everything is one infinity. And you're choosing to experience something. But you are all everything that you can perceive, you're that. And more, and infinite more. That's what the oneness means. The oneness means that there's one infinity. And you're it. That's it. That's what oneness means. So yeah, I just wanted to do a video. I was feeling very good, and I wanted to do one. I just felt strongly I should do one. But getting back to relationships, this awakening, what it'll do is, as it ascends, as it evolves and stuff, people will change in all different ways, because we'll be coming back to our abundant state, which is our natural state. And people will no longer get in situations, relationships, jobs, where their heart space is telling them they shouldn't do it. People have children. People have jobs. People are in relationships. People doing all sorts of different things because of fear, because of ego. Not because their heart space and their intuition is really telling them to do it. And then what happens is they spend the rest of their days living this way until they're too old to change, until it's too late. And that's what people do. And I'm so glad this awakening came to me, because I won't make that mistake. But if people live in their heart space, they won't do these kind of things. Because the only person that you need to be happy to, and the only person you need to prove to anything, is yourself. People online on social media, it doesn't really matter. Doesn't mean a thing in terms of your personal happiness within you. That's the only person that you need to kind of satisfy. And that satisfaction, that infinite, everlasting satisfaction, comes from spirituality and a spiritual life. A life that is a power that is within everyone. It's not external, it's within here. And that's what this awakening is going to do globally. As it develops, it will develop, like I've said, people of making the correct decisions because they're in their heart space. Because your head thinks, but your heart knows. That's what this awakening will do. Heart-based living is a big part of the awakening. As I'm speaking now, I'll say it again. I keep on saying it. I'll keep on saying it. That this information that I've got, I had the information at 24, but every second, basically, the information just amplifies and just gets greater and greater. And when you awaken, you start to pay attention, anyone can do it, it's within everyone, is you basically, you're aware of every second going on. You know, you see things as a message from the divine consciousness. Where when you're asleep, you don't see that. You know, when I was asleep, I saw everything as everyone else's problem. Yeah, and that's the way asleep people operate. They think every problem in the world, in their experience, is external, or everyone else is to blame. When everything that you're experiencing is your reflections. That's what it is. There isn't any separation whatsoever. It's all your reflections, because I'll end on this note. We do not attract what we want, but we attract what we are, whatever frequency you're at. Right, I think I'll just end it there. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you.